Now from Hollywood, California, the horror capital of the world, the Boulet Brothers, creatures of the night.
Welcome, my little monsters, to a brand new episode of the Boulet Brothers Creatures of the Night. It is the midnight hour, and we are coming to you live from Boulet Manor, and the episode just dropped a few hours ago.
That's right, and we are still intoxicated on the fumes of our get-together and Dragula episode watch party.
Yes.
It was a fun night tonight in the Boulet Manor.
It was
fun.
Yes, it was. People were very happy with the episode, which I was thrilled with, and it was a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah, I think this episode is kind of a slice of quintessential Dragula, right? I think this harkens back to season 2 and the earlier seasons where we took them outside of conventional spaces where you see drag and put drag queens literally in the wild, which includes us.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's where our drag comes from. We used to do that stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that in a minute. Before we do, let's catch everybody up on what's been going on in the Boulet world. We have been at Not Scary Farms a bunch of nights, and it has been so fun. For those of you that are listening that came out to see us, thank you. It was great just hanging out with everybody and taking photos and everything. I love it there.
Oh my God, it feels so correct. Sometimes I just feel giddy. Drac and I are dressed to the nines like the Queens of Darkness, walking around the park while people are screaming on roller coasters and like pointing and taking pictures. And the scare actors are like sliding across the floor. Like it just feels so right.
It does. I'm having a blast there. I
love
cannot
it.
wait for next year. There's something big planned that I'll just wait until later to talk about it, but I am thrilled.
That's right. And if you haven't got the chance to see us yet, you still have time, but you're definitely running out because October is crazy. We will be there again Thursday, October 16th, Friday, October 17th, a third time the following Thursday on the 23rd, and our final night at Not Scary Farm will be Sunday, October 26th, where we will be doing a very special in-person podcast event at the Birdcage Theater in Not Scary Farms. It'll be included in your GA ticket, so please feel free to come if you're there that night. We're going to have some very famous special guests to partake in our ritual.
Yes, and just for those of you that don't know, you don't have to buy an additional ticket to come to the meet and greets when we're there. You just have to meet us at the Legacy store at 9 p.m. and we will be there. We'll sign things, take pictures, hang out. You can tell us how beautiful we are and how much you love us.
My favorite comment is like, oh my God, you guys look more beautiful in person than you do on TV, which I'm like, oh my, that gets me right in the heart because it means like it's not TV magic. It's not After Effects or whatever, like putting glows on our skin. Like it looks that good.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people say that to us, and it makes me wonder what the hell our production crew is doing to us, right? Because when they say that to me, because it's not just one person, it's a lot of people. We just did all those meet and greets on tour, and a lot of people say that, and I'm like, something's wrong.
Drac, this is too perfectly me and you because I'm like glowing in all the positivity, like give me another compliment, and you're like, No, they're saying too many nice things. Like, what do we actually look like on that screen?
Well, think about when I'm on set, right? I'm the one that's always like, that light is too high, or that light is too low, or that camera looks weird. Because I know I have the lived experience of some bad camera people in the past, and I am the one that has to live to regret it. It's my face that they screenshot and blow up to like giant size.
Okay.
And put it on a folder or something. It's so annoying.
But one day soon, you will realize that is the past and you look great from any angle.
Well,
it's
thank
true.
You.
You really
and
do.
It wasn't cheap, and I think I have a couple things to polish
Shut
up.
up. I'm next.
Anyways, it's Halloween season, so we have a couple things we need to talk about. You can see us at Not Scary Farms, as we discussed. We will also be in Sacramento on October 18th for the Sinister Soiree, featuring us, Asia Consent, Abora, and Vander Von Ob, which I'm very excited about.
Oh my God, what a stellar lineup. So we're going to take over the second half of the show. It's going to be all Dragula all night, and it's going to be amazing.
Going to be fun. We're doing meet and greets there too. And then we will be obviously at our 25th annual Los Angeles Halloween Ball on October 25th, 2025.
Oh my God, there's such magic to that.
There is.
It's huge. It's downtown. We're going back. We're kind of returning home to the historic Globe Theater. We kind of go all out on this one. Like there's like multi-levels, multiple dance floors, $1,000 costume contest. Trixie Mattel will be there, Asia Consent. Neo Hulu is on hand doing a new fashion show, which features a lot of Dragula alumni, including Hoso Teratoma, Astrid Aurelia, Abora. The House of Ninja will be doing a Vogue performance, Rasputin Marionettes, the House of Avalon, Tough Party Takeover in the Basement. I mean, it goes on. There's so much more. Tickets are available now at halloween25.bpt.me, and they will be available until the event on the 25th.
That's right. And then we are going to New York to do a bunch of press. And I don't want to say about where we'll be, but you'll be able to see us on a lot of fun shows coming up this Halloween season. And then we will be in Boston on October 31st for what they are calling the Boulet Brothers Halloween House Party, even though I don't get to keep the money.
And that's that on that.
And I don't get to hire the lineup, but I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's always fun. We love Boston on Halloween night. It's now been a ritual of ours for years. The next day we'll be doing signings at
that JR Spooky Shack.
Yep.
That is also no purchase necessary. You don't have to buy a ticket or anything like that, but you can come to JR Spooky Shack and meet us on November 1st.
And then finally, on November 2nd, after I go to Salem, I can die. I can sleep for 3 months.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Don't shatter my dream right now. Okay,
sure.
Just let me live in my delusion.
No problem. Holiday of Horrors is right on your ass.
Oh my God, I hate you. And on that note, while I cry and dry my tears, we're going to take a quick break and we will be right back. Wah.
All right, everybody, we are back and we are digging into the Boulet Brothers Dragula Titan Season 2, Episode 2.
Monsters of Rock, Cyber Edition.
That's right.
Yeah.
Neotrop. We have taken the monsters to Neotropolis. So we start the episode off with all the cast coming and getting out of the van, and they're on location. And we did this especially for the fans. For those of you that we've talked about this on the podcast, you all wanted more location challenges. And we're like, what do you mean? Because we go on all these locations, but you said you wanted to see them in the desert, getting challenge issue and all that stuff. So we did that just for you. I hope you appreciate it. And I want to talk about why. It's very hard to do that.
Yeah.
The reason being is people know about the show now. Used to, they didn't know about the show. In season 2, they had no idea. So we could take a whole cast of unknown monsters, put them on stage, and nobody would bat an eye. They'd just think it's a freaky stage show, and they wouldn't think anything about it. Now, if we show up somewhere and there's a cast of Dragula stars, it's pretty obvious. We're basically projecting the cast out there. So
or
that's
the two of us.
Yeah,
in,
the
you
two
know,
of
where
us
you can
too.
see our faces. And that is why this place was kind of a genius choice to make, because everyone there is already kind of dressed and their faces are covered and obscured, and we told the cast they had to do that too. So prepare for the desert, make it a look, make it so that we can't tell who you are. And we did the same in our masked looks when we were kind of walking through the crowd.
So that's the whole story about, location shootings and why it's tricky. So they had to wear a disguise. I don't know why some of them didn't understand that they were supposed to be disguised on stage too. We definitely talked about that, and we definitely talked about it in Judgment, but the Judgment went on forever and it didn't make the cut. But yeah, so if people are like, why'd you put them in disguise when they were off stage? And I didn't put them in anything. They just fucked up, honestly.
But a lot of them were really obscure. Like, you think about Cynthia and Eva, and like so many of them had like masks and prosthetics and stuff that you couldn't tell. Like Jade was like completely obscured.
Too. Abora, there's nothing Abora could do would make them not look like Abora. So,
I know, especially on the stilts.
Yeah.
There was something about this and just whole entrance segment that hit me. And I was like, wow, there are a lot of truths being told right now at the beginning of this episode. Like everyone was just like pouring out with their feelings and living like their truth. But it was almost all delivered in like the worst kind of like roughest way possible. And like, for example, Cynthia was talking about her feelings about Blackberry, but it came out in like yells and screams and bitch and like so much cursing and kind of like, ooh, like work through those feelings, girl. Like use your words and like let her know how you're feeling without all the poison. Priscilla talking about Frankie's drag and how it's not that great. And Jade talking about Dahlia and weaponizing mental health to kind of win like brownie points. I mean, there are truths in there, but I feel like, so cutting. I was like, oh my God, I'm getting uncomfortable.
I agree, but I will say I'm pleased to see the way that the cast is discussing sensitive issues in not sensitive ways, because the truth is that's how people talk. That's how people talk when the cameras are not around. And I'm glad to see them forgetting that the cameras are there and they're saying it up front. Because if you were hanging out with your friend and they said something shady like that, you'd laugh. And that's the truth. And people need to like accept that that's the reality.
I think we're coming at the same issue from just opposite sides of the coin, because it is fun and funny. But when I'm trying to maybe empathize or sympathize with characters that I like on the show, and then I hear them being talked about in kind of harsh ways, yes, it's kind of real. Like, not everybody will sit there and like, you know, treat you with kitten gloves, but one after the other, like all condensed like that. It's like, ooh, it's a lot. Let's talk about the challenge, because it's a fun one. This is Monsters of Rock with a twist. We had this opportunity to go to Neotropolis, and this is kind of like the little stepsister of Wasteland Weekend.
So that's something I wanted to say to the fans. Like, everyone loved Wasteland Weekend from season 2, so we wanted to bring them back. We've been trying to do it for years, but the timing just lined up perfectly to where we could finally do it, which is for Titans 2. Unbelievable. It was just magic.
Oh my God.
Happened.
I so love it. When we were watching tonight, I was kind of not watching the screen and kind of looking at everybody's faces. Like, when they were showing the Neotropolis footage, it was just so cool. It's why we created challenges like this, to have these characters on a field trip, like, you know, our ghouls, like, out there having fun, but also like facing the challenge and having to rise to the occasion and perform for all those people out there. It's kind of nerve-wracking, but I think they absolutely delivered.
Yeah, I do too. I was very happy with what they did. We got to see them all dance. You know, I thought it was fun to kind of just let them go out and have a little fun and have a drink and dance around and shop and look at everything. Those are one of the elements I love of location challenges, is when you see them kind of wandering around, you know, like, I think back to season 2, the Ghost Town. I was happy to see Monique, not happy to see Monique.
These pads. Everyone was happy to see your pads in the promo pic this week, though. Hey, look, I thought you looked good.
Those aren't pads, sweetie.
Oh my God, she's got the curves.
All right, so they get the challenge issue. They're getting ready in the tent, and
Cynthia is like a bomb.
Cynthia and Blackberry attack. And okay, so here's the thing. Something I want to add about the show. To me, doing great drag is part of the job, right? But part of the job is performing under duress. Because as you know, as someone that works in the entertainment industry, most of the time when you get on stage, there's a lot of stuff going on in the background that's distracting you, and bad stuff that would distract anybody. And I think that that's something Blackberry's experiencing right now. Blackberry is a strong person, but I would say very mild-mannered and sort of soft in some ways. She's strong, but she's also like, she's just not pushy, you know?
She's got manners.
She's got manners.
Yeah, she knows how to act.
And so I think this is tripping her up. I do. I think this she doesn't know how to deal with this energy from Cynthia.
Honestly, I don't know that I would know how to deal with it either. And when I see Blackberry's measured responses, I'm like, I got to give you credit, because there's a point that probably happened 20 minutes ago where I would have just snapped and been just as loud as Cynthia was being to her. That's not a winning play. That's nothing to be like proud of.
Yeah.
I think what Blackberry's doing and how Blackberry's playing it is correct.
It's not what would I do if I was in that situation. You know, what I would do now is very different. What would I do at their age in that situation?
Oh, God.
Please. I'm so glad I was never cast on a reality show back then, because can you imagine the two of us?
God.
I mean, we'd be in jail.
No, it'd be out of control.
It
Wild.
would be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
something else that was bad, you just reminded me. Yeah, part of the challenge is being entertaining and being under duress, even when there's 1,000 things swirling around you. If the fans only knew how pissed off I was pretty much round the clock when we were filming season 5. Like, I was so bitter about every little million thing.
Rotten.
I was so rotten, and I apologize to you.
You should.
I've gotten a lot better, right?
Oh, absolutely. Like, and whatever else we filmed this year, you were fantastic.
Yeah.
But season 5, you were a nightmare.
I was so upset.
You were a nightmare for any platform.
That's right. Oh, God. Anyway, I won't go into it. It sucked. You know, you couldn't see it on screen, but that's part of the challenge, right? Even in the whirlwind, when the cameras go on, or when you have to get on stage and be in a rock band or whatever it is, you have to deliver.
Do I have empathy for Blackberry in the situation? Yes. I also can see why Cynthia feels betrayed.
For sure.
But I don't like that she's targeting Blackberry only and not Jaharia and JK.
Well, Jaharia is on the list. For some reason, Blackberry's number 1. And I think it's because she's not saying like, oh, I'm sorry, or showing great remorse, right? Because Jaharia is one of my favorite things about this episode, though, is this whole JK moment where she's like, somehow I'm Cynthia's sister now. I'm Cynthia's best friend, even though me, Blackberry, and Jaharia all voted to put her on the bottom. She just hasn't put it together yet. She's only mad at the two of them. And I think that is hilarious.
Well, what I will say is I think Cynthia is sharing her raw feelings, and I think the audience really loves it, just based off of what I saw tonight at our viewing party. I mean, people are living for Cynthia, and I love that.
Agreed.
She's funny. She's good on camera, you know?
No, absolutely. So we get introduced to our special guest judges tonight, Kate Siegel, who is a fucking gem. And I miss them. Like,
I know.
Kate Siegel is Mike Flanagan's wife, and they're family to us. They're friends to us. Like, we would hang out and go to viewing parties and kind of spend time with them. They had to leave the state to film a big, long project. They've been gone for months, and it was kind of nice just to see Kate's face on screen.
Yeah, because she's
tonight.
usually there watching with all of us.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And then Ryan Turek is, I love Ryan.
Yeah.
Ryan is awesome. You guys have such a weird history, which I love.
Yeah, I know. I won't get into it, but our young lives were kind of intertwined. We didn't know each other, but we were basically like kind of in the same circles. And then years later, we've crossed paths and realized, like, oh my God.
Oh, that's you in that
You
picture.
were there. I was there. Oh my God, look, there's you, there's me. It's like, it's cosmic. It's strange. Ryan is with Blumhouse, and he's way up there, one of like the big wigs and decision makers when it comes to Blumhouse. And it was just awesome to have him on this episode because he genuinely loves this kind of this culture.
And he's also sort of become almost like a horror commentator. Like, he's on a lot of documentaries about horror and stuff, and he's very articulate.
He's got that voice. Like,
Yeah,
even when he comments,
does.
you're like, I'm going to listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about.
And he's cute too.
Exactly. We have a beautiful panel of guest judges.
Okay, so we have great guest judges. The challenge has been issued. They fought, they got in their makeup, and now's the show. So
Yes.
obviously, we said our feelings about how the shows went on this episode. But is there anything that you didn't say or that didn't make the edit that you would like to share?
I think Eva's look was a little bit under-celebrated.
Yes.
It was so unrecognizable. Like, if it wasn't maybe for like the body hair, which was give it away because I knew all the competitors, but if you just showed Eva, like, mission accomplished. You were concealed. You were absolutely in theme. You played those drums like your life depended on it, like to every beat. Like, Eva did great that night.
I agree with that. One thing I wanted to point out was when we were there, and this, I don't know, for some reason it wasn't in the episode, but we were on stage hosting, and that ended up getting cut because it was just like more of a live experience, and we were in our masks and all that stuff. And we were hosting the event, and then we did kind of a audience reaction to all of them. And from what I remember, Sigourney's band won, right?
I think they were the fan favorite.
Yes.
And I think that had to do with titties, and it had to do with stilts, and it had to do with like the whole performance of it all.
Yeah.
It's a superpower.
For sure.
Definitely. And she knows how to use it.
She looked really striking too, I thought.
She really did. I was going to say, I think Sigourney's, even though there was very little to it, there's something brave about being so provocative and showing so much skin. And God, she's got a body that just slays everything. Maybe relying on like the hair and the LED lights. It seemed minimalist, but she still looks super hot.
She really did. I think a problem for her was that in our minds, we're comparing it to what we saw on season 4.
That French kiss look.
Right. Which, how could you outdo that? But that's what people are going to want you to do.
One of, if not my favorite look that I've ever seen on our show.
Wow, really?
Yeah, Sigourney's French kiss.
Better than the Old West Cyclops.
Ooh.
That's a close one.
That is tough.
The thing I liked about that one was the makeup brushes hanging on the costume and the slow motion.
There's
Go back
nothing
and watch that episode,
Nothing
everybody.
like construction paper eyelashes.
Anyways,
Yeah.
let me see what else I think didn't get the attention that maybe it deserved in, in the final.
I have another sentiment. Like,
Good.
I think Priscilla, even though she ended up in the bottom, and I think a lot of that had to do with like just the lack of energy in the performance, when she was standing on stage and you just looked at the look, including the Guar prop that we didn't get to see because it wasn't part of the show, things sort of changed that I'm like, I kind of have an appreciation for this that I wasn't able to appreciate the night that they performed in Neotropolis.
Yes, and I actually thought Dahlia's look was really strong. It was really sleek and cybery. I think it nailed the challenge on the head.
I want that hair.
Yeah, she looked great.
She did.
And it's a live show, so our experience is going to be different than what makes the edit of the final cut.
Yeah.
it's a little different when you're watching it live versus watching it on TV, I think.
Yeah. I mean, God, we're just gonna, I'm like, I love them all. But like I
I
mentioned
do.
Zava's look I mentioned in the episode, but she had that humongous like flowing cape
Yep.
and those bug eye glasses. Like it was just so weird. I'm like, you might find this character in a bar in like Barter Town, like doing
Yes.
weird shit. Like
Yes.
this is a believable character. And JK, I think, deserved a lot more kudos too, just because the look and scale of that mohawk, and
Yeah.
it was like spray painted JK. I mean, that thing was like 3-4 feet tall.
Yes.
It had to come off. I guess it was just completely like impractical.
Yeah.
But it didn't get lost on me. Like it made its impact before he got rid of it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the lead singers were interesting. Dahlia, I think, probably was trying to be the bigger teammate and give some space for the other people to stand up. That probably played against her, actually. Sigourney was very engaging and she nailed the lip sync, but I don't think she was moving around very much. She was very limited to that platform and she was sort of bending over a lot. Whereas JK, I think, was electric and was jumping around and jumping in the crowd and all that.
He was using the space, using the stage, spray painting in the mouths. Like, you're right. And he was like tying everybody together.
I mean, I'm going to say this. I wish I didn't have to judge this because I loved everything. I really liked everything. I thought everything was fabulous. I mean, Blackberry's look was a little off for me, I think, but just watching them all perform, I thought they were fabulous. I wish I didn't have to give any of them negative critiques, but it's our job.
I wonder how the fans will think, because for me, this was a very clear, easy decision. Jaharia won. Jaharia was the star.
Yes.
And it's the first time that someone other than a lead singer won the Monsters of Rock challenge. And that's what she mentions about being like, you know, kind of iconic, because it's the first time that happened. It's a little bit of Dragula history in the making right there. But everything from the whole swagger, the attitude, the meticulous lip sync, making the guitar, smashing the guitar, like playing that instrument like she was really there playing it. I mean, it was just so believable. And I think the other judges saw it too.
I do too. I mean, it's a big deal to be the first winner of a Monsters of Rock not being the lead singer. Traditionally, that has never happened. So it is a big deal.
Yeah.
And so you must imagine the impact she made on us and the judges in that moment to warrant that win. And I think the win was warranted. All right. So we know who won. And then we have on the bottom this week, Loris, Priscilla, and Jade. So I was going to say, sadly for you, your favorite, they're on the bottom. And so then they go into the cauldron. Now, what did you think of what erupted in this cauldron?
Well, no, Drac, elaborate. I mean, extrapolate.
Extrapolate? Here's the things that sort of stood out to me. Obviously, there was this thing with Loris. And I just want to say this. Loris has grown so much since season 1 and even Resurrection. Loris is very nice, but I wouldn't mistake that for weakness. And she shows that, I think, in this thing. She stands up for herself. She speaks clearly. She has valid points. And I feel like she's not attacking everybody else. She's just defending herself.
Yeah.
And I thought it was cool.
I absolutely respected the way that she repped herself, and she didn't get lost in her feelings. Like, she's like, this is funny coming from someone standing here in a jumpsuit, you know, like, and just not getting upset where someone else, a weaker person, would have got upset and like lost their cool.
Yeah. And Sigourney jumped into it with Priscilla and the sewing the outfit and all that stuff, which was giving me season 4 flashbacks.
It gave me season 1 flashbacks a little bit because Loris was being piled on again, and I didn't like seeing it.
No, I didn't either. Although I think she dealt with it a lot differently this time around.
Absolutely. She stood up for herself.
Yeah. And she had some people on her side this time, which was not the case in season 1.
It was nice to hear Sigourney like step up. It did seem unfair and a little bit like, you know, a gang up. Zava chimes in and kind of calls out Dahlia for making reference to production about her usage of ketamine.
Yeah, so this is the thing that stood out to me. This is one of the things that pinged high on my radar for the whole episode. And it's the first time, I think, that we really break the fourth wall with the whole, quote, production. So I kind of just want to let the audience know where things were at this point. There was a lot of stuff happening, quote, off camera. A lot of stuff was happening and being said. Just to go into it a little bit, a lot of the cast were saying that Sigourney was saying the Boulets will never get rid of me and my fan base will attack you if you go against me, and just things like that. I did not hear that. It was not on camera, but I definitely heard people in the cast talking about that quite a bit. And there was also this stuff of people going to production and basically trying to get people disqualified. We actually do have a lot of video and audio of that stuff that just didn't really make sense to put into the episode, but it develops. There's more to come with it, and I don't want to go too into it. But, I think for the first time, we were like, we have to allow them to talk about this in a real way. How did you feel about seeing that?
I thought it was necessary because it was the reality of what happened, this kind of stuff. I don't think we've really seen this level of airing people's dirty laundry or like pulling things out of their personal lives to try to make them potentially get disqualified. Like we've never seen that on this show before. So that's like a different level. But some of the stuff, fans need to hear it directly from the monsters, directly on screen. Like, this is what's happening. This is how I feel about it. This is what this person is doing. And you'll learn more about that. Like, is ketamine prescribed in New York? I think it is for depression and maybe other things. But like, we'll figure out what that means in Dragula world or what it doesn't mean.
Right, because even JK in this episode made sort of a snide comment about, well, ketamine that's prescribed doesn't come in a bag or, whatever. So that's very, very weird stuff that we sort of never have gotten into in the past, but it's their reality. It's what they were talking about. And even though it's sort of uncomfortable, I'm like, talk about it.
And it's not the last time we're going to hear about it. Like, this conversation will get picked up again.
Yeah, I don't think we could say much more because we know the developments, but
But my favorite part of the episode is coming in this moment because Zava doesn't stop there. She stands up in a very perfect moment and says, oh, and Cynthia, she was talking shit about you too. And Cynthia instantly.
What the fuck did you say about me?
JK, oh, she's activated. She's activated is like my favorite thing ever.
I would not have guessed. And it was foolish of me. I should have. I would not have guessed that if you put Cynthia Dahl with a panel of historical figures from Dragula, that she would be the one who they were all sort of timid about. But that's happened very quickly.
Yeah, it really has. I know. Love you, Cynthia.
Yeah, so I think that's all we can go into. Unfortunately, we do say goodbye to Loris this episode. I think Loris is fantastic. We put her on everything we've done about at this point, multiple times. So I'm sure you haven't seen the last of her, as far as Boulet Brothers Dragula projects. She's definitely a figure in the pantheon of Dragula Titans. So, but let's talk about this. Let's talk about the ending.
That final cutscene after the extermination.
Yes. So when we told you all that there were going to be twists and turns coming that you didn't see and different levels to the competition, we meant it. And so obviously I'm not going to spoil it this week. That was just a little teaser for what's to come, but there's something really interesting coming. And I think you all are going to be very excited about it.
Oh my God, it was so fun at the viewing party too, because they were like, oh my God, great episode. I'm like, wait. Because I knew the extra footage. They're like,
what's happening?
What? And then there was an explosion. It's exciting.
Totally. Okay, well, let's take a quick break. There was a ton of listener questions from our first episode recap here on the podcast. So we're going to come back and we're going to dig into as many of those questions as we can. Stay tuned.
We are back, my darlings, and it's time to reach into our humongous bag of listener mail and answer all of your burning questions.
Yes, so as a reminder, this is our Boulet Brothers Dragula Titans Season 2 post-mortem recap. So if you have questions about things we talked about on this episode or questions you're dying to ask us about episode 2 of Titans, please write to us at creatures@bouletbrothersdragula.com and we'll try to answer as many of your questions as we can.
Blossom writes, Blossom, I have a main question regarding Dragula filming. Does Dragula have off ice or on ice policies when not filming? It's interesting because it seems like you guys actively encourage hangouts when episodes aren't filming, and I was just hoping to quell my curiosity regarding that topic. And just for people that don't know, ice is sort of like the term that we use in TV when it means no talking, no communicating, like silence. So when you're on ice, you're not allowed to talk to each other.
Yes. And yes, there are definitely ice periods, but to try to control 14 loudmouths at once is not easy, no matter how many production people you have. And a lot of times they forget, or they're not listening, or they're just talking, or they're also rehearsing. Like for the band show, they rehearsed a ton. So, you have to let them be together and talk. And obviously, they're going to talk about all kinds of things. There's a lot of footage from that. There's a lot of audio recorded from that. And you will see that in real time coming soon on an episode.
I wouldn't say that we're like super strict about the ice. Like we enforce it, I think, when it's necessary at like key moments. But there's also a way to let people communicate when you're on set. We're all there for upwards of 10 to 12 hours, 5-6 days a week, where they can talk and interact, but only like very surfacey stuff. You can't go deep on anything, because when a monitor hears that, that's when the ice comes in. So we do let them interact.
The reason is because we want you all to see as much of their reality as possible. If things are developing, or people are talking, or getting along, or not getting along, we want the audience to be able to see that. And the people that can do that are our favorites, and the people that don't are not. Jacob from Long Beach has 2 questions. 1, are you caught up on Housewives, and how are you liking these seasons of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and The Real Housewives of Miami? I love The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. It's one of my favorite franchises. Miami, I could not add another one. Well, I know Miami's really good. So many people talk about it, but I'm just like, I can't add another one. I'm full.
Yeah. So we don't watch Miami, but we do watch Salt Lake City, and we are caught up. It's like one of our favorite nights. We're like, ooh, Salt Lake's on tonight. Let's get home and get on the couch. And I love it. I'm gagged at how central a figure Angie has become.
Yeah.
And I think Lisa Barlow is sort of like invaluable to that whole thing. But all of them, like Mary, like just all of them, they're so good. Like Whitney, now a little strawberry blonde. Like, yes, they can't do any wrong. Like, I love that show.
Brittany, I think I could, no offense, but I could take her leave.
For sure. And I don't know that she'll be around that long, but the way that she creates such cringe moments, I think she brings something to the show.
Next question. I am curious to know if you love any specific housewife recap podcasts.
Well, Drac and I get ready together a lot, and we've been doing a lot of appearances, particularly at Not Scary Farm, and she will take over the sound waves. I don't even have a choice. I don't have a say. If left to my own devices, I would be listening to music while I paint my face and transform me into Swanthula. But when I have to hang out, when I'm forced to share agreement with Drac, I get all the tea from Two Teas in a Pod.
Okay, 2 Teas in a Pod is my favorite. That's number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I also listen to...
Drac is a honorary twat.
Oh, how dare you. I'm also a raindrop because I listen to Carlos Reality with the King, Carlos King's podcast.
I actually love Carlos King's podcast.
Me too.
And Claudia on there.
I love when Claudia's
when Claudia's a guest, I live.
Wait, there's another one I listen to. What's the other one? There's a third one.
Oh, Watch What Crappens.
That one took me a minute to get into because the voices I find to be an attack on the person of the housewives, but whatever.
What do you mean, Gretchers?
And I always disagree with most of their favorites and their, the people that they hate. Like all the people they hate is the people I love.
Exactly. Those queens have like the opposite taste that we do.
Definitely. Yeah. So that's my dirty secret. A lot of times, especially with Carlos King's, it's all about reality TV and him as a producer. So it's actually really interesting to listen to.
No, I agree that his insight is interesting. Freya from Turkey asks, I need to ask some hard-hitting questions. Ooh, that's a powerful opener. Namely, where the fuck is Fantasia Royale Gaga? And also, how could you miss an opportunity to put the breasts of the West, the tits of the town, Fantasia, on another season of Dragula?
I love Fantasia too, and I think there will be a time and a place.
Yeah. The truth is, we actually have a lot of love for almost every person that's ever been on Dragula. I think they're all stars in their own way. And it's just about alchemy. Sometimes it's about timing. Did we think about Fantasia for Titans 2? Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's something else in the works for Fantasia. I think Fantasia is just a star. She's great TV. She's so iconic in her look and presentation. Like, more to come, I would say. Jason from Melbourne. Is that how you say it?
Melbourne. Yeah.
Melbourne. In season 6, episode 1, you mentioned the entire cast is from your wildcards folder. Is there any more tea you can give us about this backlog of applicants? What makes someone or their audition tape a wildcard? I would say If they seem kind of ape shit, right? If they seem kind of berserko or like you don't know how to handle them, they seem kind of wild and you can't get a handle on who they are. And I don't mean like they're obnoxious but they might be like super gross in their filth categories or things like that. Or you can just tell they're messy and usually an unknown, right? Like a lot of people we cast from season 6 were unknowns.
Yeah. And unknown to us means something else than unknown to like everybody else, because we were heavily plugged into like the club world and the drag circuits, not only in all the US cities, but a lot of overseas stuff too. So
Yeah.
when someone blipped on the radar, we knew who they were. Our evolution as TV producers had gotten to a place where around season 5 and 6, it was like we were way more into TV than the drag world. So there were a lot more like, ooh, question marks. I don't know this person. They are a wild card.
I like it better. Like I used to think it was better for us to know people, but I don't think it was, because it made it hard to judge them sometimes. I felt like we knew their potential outside of the show.
Yeah.
And when they wouldn't show up on the show, we kept thinking, oh, they're going to show up like they do, at the club, but they don't.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Next, have you been holding on to applicants in this respect since the beginning of Dragula? I would say yes. Are there any other secret categories you put applicants into that don't make it onto the show from their first application? There are people that I think stay in the rotation.
Yeah, there are people that are color coded and I forget which color it is, but it's just like watch this person.
Yeah.
Because you can see like, oh, there's something here that's very cool and unusual. It's just not developed enough.
Yeah, there's some people I know that tried and really campaigned to be on the show for years, and then they didn't, and then they would get bitter and kind of be nasty about the show and us and stuff. And I'm like, it's just foolish, because if someone doesn't put you on a show at that time, you should be thankful, because there's a reason that you weren't on there. Maybe they know something about you that would come out on the show and destroy your life or something like that, or we can see your potential, but you're not quite there yet. You would flop, and we don't want to see that either. So,
or it's just not your time yet. So be an adult and like put your fucking panties on. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? You never know how long the lifespan of the show will be. I mean, do the spinoffs and regular seasons. Like, we've done 8 seasons of Dragula and we are not slowing down. Like, the show just keeps getting like more viewers. So I'm like, if you auditioned a few times and you didn't make it, don't start shitting on the show, because we're going to be around and you're going to be around.
Well, that's the other problem.
If you can do some things, we can do some things.
We can do things, as Loris would say. Yeah, I have a long memory.
Yeah, you really do.
I do, and I don't forget.
James from Belfast writes, I have a question. You talked before about not being shown in public without face to protect your privacy, but when you're directing, are you in your normal clothes and faces? Yes, we are. Our normal clothes are head to toe black. It's very easy to dress for work because that's how we dress every day. Yeah, and that was kind of an interesting moment, I think, in the evolution of us, like really stepping behind the camera and actually directing all the aspects of the show. I think I've said this before. One of our concerns was that the contestants will see us out of drag before they see us in drag. And that kind of like shatters the illusion and I think the respect or the intimidation of when on episode 1 for a normal season, the first time you see the Boulets is when they're in the judge's booth in full drag. And there is definitely like a power to that. But what actually happened was they saw us out of drag and we were intimately involved with all of the stuff that they were doing on camera. And I think we built trust that way, and that built respect.
It's not what I expected.
Yeah, it's not what I expected at all.
I mean, personally, for me, I am more comfortable in that version of drag, because there's 2 versions of Drac and Swan. There's our personas, and then there's us as creative forces, and very different people, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I personally really enjoy being behind the camera and just sort of creating everything.
Yeah, I love guiding them through the experience too, because I think input directly from us and directly from me lets them know like, okay, they care about how I'm lit, where I'm walking, giving them the best moments. And that's like what we're trying to do.
That's when we step in. It's the creative points, like Meet Our Monsters. We're very on the scenes and running around and just making everything happen. And, like when they're sewing and doing whatever, and like we're not really around, we're not involved in that very much. Like I keep my eye on it no matter what, but we are more focused on the creative aspects of the show. As much as we talk about reality, right?
This is like the international list of questions, listener questions. We have like Ireland, Turkey, New Zealand, the Philippines. It's kind of crazy.
It is.
This is Ethan from New Zealand. Are there any monsters that you see as your Boulet baby, not just aesthetically, but also personality, ambition, drive, etc.? Basically, any monster that reminds you of yourselves.
No, definitely not. Shahad from Kuwait asked, have you ever been recognized out of drag because of your voices?
Oh my God, yes. And I could not believe that.
Me
I was
neither.
gagged. We were in a store in downtown LA in a random beauty
A
shop
giant
or some
craft
wigs,
mall.
crafts. I don't know what it was, but we're talking and someone literally from aisles over oh my God, I know those voices. And I was like,
I know. I'm like,
hello,
run.
uglies. I was like, we have to get out of here.
I know. It actually happens kind of quite a bit, and
Yeah.
I hate it. But, it is what it is.
Jason writes, you had previously said that you are inspired by Marvel Comics. DC Comics has a rich history of horror comics in the 70s and 80s, followed by their Vertigo imprint in the 90s. You even had your own story published in DC Horror Presents. Are there any DC characters, stories, or even writers that you enjoy or draw inspiration from?
You must have misheard me because I said DC Comics. DC Comics is where we draw inspiration from, not Marvel. I love Marvel Comics, but yeah, no. And as far as where we draw inspiration from, I would say the worlds of Wonder Woman. I would say absolutely the Female Furies and the Creatures on Apocalypse, right? The New Gods.
Yes.
Early Suicide Squad comics, I feel like, with Nightshade. And,
yeah. I think Dragula draws on the early Suicide Squad.
It really does, doesn't it?
In a lot of ways,
Yes.
I'm like, these girls are the Suicide Squad.
True.
Our Suicide Squad.
It's so true. So yeah, there's tons. Madame Xanadu, Black Orchid, there's a ton of characters. Anyways, yes, we love DC Comics, and I hope to do more with them. Matthew from New Jersey asks, my question is about something Swanthula touched on in a previous episode. I'm loosely quoting, but she said you can use your performance anxiety as fuel to make your performance even better. Hearing that has given me a new perspective on what it means to get any amount of stage fright. Perhaps it's not a burden, but just my latent inner power activating. Can you please elaborate further on this?
I would love to, and I love that meant something and did something for you, because I think you're now looking at it the way I look at it. Because even as a child, I was really heavily involved in the theater. I've done a million shows before I left my hometown and whatever, but it didn't matter how many performances I did. I got butterflies and anxiety every single night. It just fills you with that kind of burst of energy, and you use that, not that it creates a barrier for you, it creates an engine, the fuel that you need to go forward. I've always been told that it fuels your performance, so I hope you can take that and use it and feel like what you're experiencing is so understandable and human and so common. I think everyone gets it. We know really famous and successful musicians and actors, they get nervous every single night. A good friend of mine is in a big band, and she was like, I vomit before stage performances. So I think anxiety is very normal.
All right, everybody, that's all the time we have for this episode of the Boulet Brothers Creatures of the Night. Remember, if you have a question about this recap podcast or about the last episode of the Boulet Brothers Dragula Titans 2, please write to us at creatures@bouletbrothersdragula.com, and we will answer your question here on air.
We'll be back next week with our post-mortem recap of episode 3, and I'm so excited to do that. But in the meantime, come see us at Not Scary Farm this Thursday, October 16th or the 17th. Again, Thursday the 23rd, and our final night with the big special performance, Sunday, October 26th. We'll be doing an in-person podcast and event at Not Scary Farms, which is included in your ticket. So if you're there, please come and see us. We will be there. Remember to join us at our Halloween ball on the 25th. Tickets are available at halloween25.bpt.me. That's for our 25th annual Los Angeles Halloween Ball. We'll be in Sacramento on October 18th. Tickets there for the Sinister Soiree are available at lovehorrorevents.com. And join us for the big night, Halloween night. It's our ritual in Boston. There's a huge lineup. It's going to be amazing. It's always fun. Tickets are available now at Gay Mafia Boston on Instagram.
Hey, did you hear? That's our Halloween house party. Bye, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
The Boulet Brothers Creatures of the Night is hosted by the Boulet Brothers with music by Neuron Spectre.